and we'll go from there. So we can kind of see the abilities without the tree. I mean, level 30 is going to change everything to all these characters, and that's not a good way to address it, but I'm going to have it on the spell unlimited things, so I don't have to worry about that. So the cooldown's 10. The Scatter Blast is interesting. It does 50% more damage if they're close. So at 80, it would do like, I believe it would do like 120.
Which way, Mortimer?
Can I make a dummy target? Okay. There we go. So this poor guy's gonna get shot.
This way, Mortimer.
If he's...
What do you need legs for?
You can see the range right there.
Shotgun.
When I hold down the Q. That's close range. That's where it will do the more damage, 50%. So I believe if it's 80, it'll be like 120.
Nice and easy. Eat this. Always did it
Does
the
that thing
right
have
way.
armor? Doesn't have armor.
way.
Is that not close enough to double the
This ain't
damage?
no hayride. This here's my boomstick.
Oh, that's weird.
Sure as a gun. That one they call my big
Okay, it does less damage, so it does a maximum. It does 50% less damage. Enemies caught at point blank range. The skill is messed up. So it shows 80, and then it says on the tooltip, damages slows enemies in a cone that enemies caught at a point blank range take an extra 50% damage. But no, they'll take 80 damage because this guy doesn't have armor to make that matter. See all that? Those creeps took 80 right there. They have 2 armor though, so maybe it's just bugged. He took 121. Okay, it's just bugged. It doesn't work right on the little guy to try out the stuff with. That kind of sucks. It makes demos harder, but okay, it does work as described. It's a cool ability, and later on in the tree, well, I'll talk about that later on once I get to it. FireSnap's Cookie is decent. So it's a stun, but it's a jump stun in the direction your character is looking. So I'll get that. So I'm feeding the guy the cookie. I can't really change direction, so think of it as a force staff initiation. It's a save, like I can do the terrain here, use it as an escape.
Grab the apple.
Or I'm running at the enemy and I want to say, hey, I don't want to engage even, but I want him to be stunned, but I don't want to be that close to range in the sport. So those guys get stunned and get set up. I can use it on my ally who wants to engage as long as he's looking the correct direction. What else does it do? Impact, stun, hop distance 450, impact radius 300, impact damage 90. Okay, so it just does more damage and a slight bit more stunning. The cooldown gets better as it levels up. It's definitely like a good lane harass tool. Or maybe getting a creep where he can be denied too. There's like next levels to it, but your mana pool's not that high right off the bat, so you're not going to be able to use mostly a lane. Slows the enemy just barely. From moving point to point A. Oh, let me start him moving from here to here so you can see. I'm going to move him straight across. So he just gets a big slow for just a moment, but it doesn't like interrupt his actions. Not quite as useful as I thought it would be, but the tree talent comes along. I'm just going to talk about the tree. It's in the back of my headspace. So you can add more damage to the Scatter Blast, which is kind of cool, because it is a decent wide range, but at level 25, Scatter Blast applies a 3-second disarm. That's late game, really strong against carries. And if you get the cooldown down to the maximum 10 seconds, so they'd have 6 seconds of uptime, but there's other items, that would probably remove it or debuff it along those lines. I see it as being fairly useful. But the FireSnap is great.
Whole hog, Mortimer.
The impact damage and just the mobility as a mobility tool.
Don't mind if you do.
You think you're
Hey,
adding? I'm
Mortimer.
gonna see if it destroys trees right here.
You bet. No questions.
Yep. Okay.
Moving.
Monkey King. Haha, I'm gonna hop on you. Or you can put a. The best part is you can choose to apply it to somebody else who's stronger than you and wants to engage. I don't think when you add range to yourself, let's add an ether lens.
Sometimes he goes.
If I made another hero, okay.
Gut bomb.
Let's add an ether lens. I don't think that'll affect their range unless it probably is if they have the ether lens on themselves, they might jump
Four
farther.
legs a churning.
So
Eat up.
no, it did not. It did not seem to make a difference to the distance of how far that guy hops. It's just how far I can cast it away, so it doesn't matter. Now we have Lil Shredder. SnapFire hears up our mountain turret to rapidly fire 6 fixed damage attacks. Each attack slows the enemy and attack speed, provides bonus attack damage for the duration. So fixed damage per shot, 30, 45, 60, 75 scales. Bonus range. Bonus range is important, 75, 150, 225, 300. Attacks per stack, 20. So that's the bone attack slow per stack. So that stacks. And can really, fight. That looks effective. Attack slow duration, 3 seconds. That's a long time.
Let's have a look-see.
Ooh. So I picked
Beg for mercy.
target there.
Wait along. Well, the bullet
It
hell.
attacks the closest target, it looks.
Lickety
So I'm
split.
trying to target
Raise the fire.
that target out there, and it's just gonna grab me whatever is there. Even though the range gets up on it, like. So I just burned it, and nobody was in range. Oh, it's charging.
Artillery
Okay,
on
so
the
you can
move.
set it up,
Meet
turn
the
it on,
equalizer.
run it into battle, and shoot it as close in range. I still think it shoots the closest to target. I'm going to try that with these guys here in a moment. So. Nope, it does not.
Roads.
It's just it's an ability you turn on and then you pick your targets. So you could pepper everybody. I see that being really effective in a fight, especially if you could shift control, because you could get the slow on everybody,
Well healed.
and kind of spread it around effectively. The range, the bonus range to
In
it
the
seems
powder game.
very significant. So you're a ranged support, which is ideally what you want to be as a support.
You want a piece of me?
That's pretty cool.
Mortimer will get us there.
Now you have Mortimer's Kisses. Now this is crazy.
Wait along.
This is probably OP. A lot OP.
Moving.
So you have range. So you have damage. You have this glob, and it sits on the ground, and it does burn damage per second. So you got the glob. It hits the target. It does 175, and then anything in that, it pulls. It sits there and just kind of gurgles for 3 seconds where you hit it, and it does damage over time. It starts 50, goes 75 to 100. So people want to move out of it and dodge it, but they won't be able to really run away from you effectively. It's a movement slow. It's only a slightly movement slow, 15%. But it's 18 globs.
Let's have a look.
So once I hit fire,
Right about there.
you see, it gives me sight too. It's a really long cooldown. It's a 90-second ult.
Backs down.
So once you use it, you've been committed. But you get sight over the areas.
Mortimer's got his own.
I don't know if it destroys. Well, it destroys trees too. Monkey King can't run from this. Oh no! Suck. This is like a direct counter to anybody who wants to hide or play in the trees or a tanker.
Should we
At least just not a counter, because you can still do your things and get out of it, but it is nuisance. So you just stand on the side of the fight and...
Certainly one way to die. You bet.
Isn't that crazy? Check how far away this is. I'm gonna shoot this side of the screen. I'm walking. I'm walking.
Give 'em
I'm
hell.
shooting that far away.
Artillery
Isn't that
on
insane?
the move. On the dusty trail.
Alright, so looking at the tree, 20%, 20 movement speed, 250 health, scatter blast, 60 damage, FireSnap Cookie restores health, 250 health. That's probably what you're gonna want to go. Help you fight or save a person. Feed them a cookie, get them to jump over an edge. You're just force staffing a person, and you have range on top of it. So. Can I do that in my
Nice and
catapult?
easy.
I don't know. I'll find out here in a second. So
In
cookie,
you go. Speed up.
cookie.
Touch bomb.
Alright, so it seems to fire pretty slow. And it has mainly... So globe causes impact damage, increases the pool of fire spread, slows, implies damage over time. SnapFire has reduced turn rate for the duration. A minimum launch range of 600 each globe.
The powder game.
So you can't fire like right on top of yourself.
Lizard go back, my boy. On the prod.
So you can get right on top of SnapFire and kill it.
Mortimer will get us there.
Can you force staff? While doing it?
Force staff.
So I'm globbing.
Not rocket.
No, I can't. Oh, yeah, I can. Sorry.
Sure.
I think I can. Hold on. Let's try that again.
Oh, it's helpful in a pinch. Cha!
It canceled my...
Save room for dessert. Run and gun.
It looks like I canceled my spell, so... Any
Pack an
self-casting, like... I mean, I think Glimmer would work. So it's channeling. Does it say it's channeling? It acts like a channeling spell. But I bet I can Glimmer.
Now you see me? Fire in the hole.
Movement canceled it.
Don't look up. Grab the apple.
Casting Glimmer cancel that? Or is it just because of the way I have my cast things on? Let me change it back, some of my buttons back to default. Alright, I'm turning off enable quick cast here. Seeing if that matters.
We'll get there.
No, okay, so I can't even glimmer cape
On
through
the
it.
shoot.
Which I guess is fair because
A warm hello to ya. Well, he.
so if I'm doing this,
Incoming. This way, Mortimer.
looks like I can't interrupt it.
Mortimer. Gonna skin that smoke
I have to stop. I have, because it's channeling, I can't, it's not letting me do things because I have other actions canceled. So it looks like force the glimmer interrupts it, so you can't really hide while you're doing it, which is fair because you're really like, how's that fair? So as soon as I force staff, I stop shooting my globs and it would be on cooldown. A silence, I believe, would interrupt it. A stun would be interrupted, and somebody gets on my face and they can just eat you alive. That's when I guess you cookie or run like a cow.
Where you going? Sure as a gun.
So you get a force staff,
What you're yammering?
more
Which
movement,
way, Mortimer?
more excitement. I like it. She seems fun. I think she'll be incredibly useful. I'm looking forward to playing my first game. I want to, before I bail, I want you guys to take a look at her, get a close-up of in the in-game character model. But we just went through all the abilities and stuff. She looks like a lot of fun. I'm sure she's going to be nerfed in different ways. The range of that feels unfair, but if you just jump on top of her and kind of, you know, blink, go, but you have to see where she's at. I don't know if you see where she's shooting from when she's on the other side of the map.
Each one thinking that streak goes all the way back to being a wee girl.
She's got, seems to be some cool lines.
Troublemaker. Not all the stories they tell about me are true. Make with love in the fires of
Alright, on that note. Thank you. Thanks for hanging.